Good evening and extra early morning. I actually wasn't planning on doing this. I've been trying to, obviously I've been posting on a daily, but for most part, I've been trying to refrain from different things, and just trying to relax, try to recoup myself and all that, because definitely felt like I had such a massive drain. Like I say, and I'll keep saying there are things that I really want to talk about that I know I can't talk about. That I want to bring up really bad. Where questions I may have, even with my life, outside of this situation that I've been dealing with, even questions there that I've got, in a weird way, I feel like I'm starting to get answers. And so I'm not sure if they're the correct ones, but it's been a fairly emotional few days, through the whole thing. I've just been, it's not like it's bad though, it's not like bad stuff. So it's like trying to just make sense of everything. Like, am I going crazy or what's, that type of thing. And so, yeah. But I was sitting here, relaxing with the two little poopers. And I just was kind of sitting here and, of course, Dad comes to the door and he's knocking on, door type thing. Go answer it, of course. Of course. And, of course, excuse me. Excuse me. It's alright. Took some cough medicine stuff or whatever. Some Dayquil. But, obviously, grab me a pack of smokes. Which this one I got earlier, and then I've been trying to space out between them with this thing. It's just weird to me. It's not, but it is. Because I'm not really a fan of that menthol flavor. It's just... But... He also handed me this. And I remember the other day I had called a friend of mine. And... he had called a friend of mine. I brought up another vid. The market guy. Scott, the market guy. And I had asked him to, if he could go by my place just to check it out and all that, make sure everything's alright, just make sure everything's clear. And he's like, yeah, I can do that. And I told him, I was like, the keys in the lockbox, go ahead and, I went ahead and gave him the code and let him go. Told him that if it's there, then he can go check things out, because I didn't have anything valuable in there. I'm already aware that people have been using that house for other things, and that's why I just really don't want to be there. And now that it's very clear to me what has gone on there. Sadly, what's more than likely gone on in this trailer without me knowing about it. You know, there's things that I'm really questioning, and there's things, and of course, it's like, call me back in so much time. So he I call him back and ask him if the key was there in the lockbox. He's like, yeah, I was there. I checked everything out. Everything was good and all that stuff. Because I told him that it was, you know, my ex was supposed to be returning the keys to the house there in the drop box, and he said, yeah, they were there. Yeah, I originally, when I pulled it out, I was trying to figure out what was going on because they were wrapped up in this tissue. And it's kind of strange that, the market guy went into my house and the keys were in the lockbox. So one of two things. There's only one of two things. Either he has a key himself, or he didn't actually go in and lied about it. Or somebody went and quickly grabbed the key from my house and had it sent to me because, well, it's almost the weekend and, well, people, yeah. So it leads me to believe either somebody's planning on doing something in my house or at my house or something. That's what it's leading me to believe. Either way, it's kind of odd that somebody says that the key was there, and it turns out it was not there. And everybody knows, anybody who's been watching this knows, I've been here the whole time, up here. So, yeah, there's... Like, I feel like my world has just been like, it hasn't just been like, my brain hasn't just been like rammed through a freaking blender, but I feel like my world just completely just like flipped. Like my reality is like not what, I don't know. I feel like I am going crazy. Yeah, oddly enough, I was waiting for of all things, I was waiting for something like this to happen. And so, I mean, I knew it's kind of strange. I was figuring maybe last weekend or something like that, but last weekend or sometime during the week that something would pop up here like this. And it did. The thing that has me, let's see if I can do this safely without certain things. With that, where it's located, etc. What do you think I'm going to do? I know it's done between me and that person, yet I still care about my child's mom. I'm aware of a lot of really sick, evil shit. And no, that hasn't. I'm just aware of it. Yeah, I'll just say that. And yeah. So I do have some concerns about the whole thing. I sat and thought about it for a while, because it was like, weighing out the option, what do you do? Because I'll be honest, I don't want to see them getting hurt. I don't want anything bad to happen to them necessarily in that sense. If I just know that I want nothing to do with them, and they've got to face their demons. Just the same as I've had to face my bullshit and bullshit that I should have never had to fucking deal with. So I don't have that. I don't have, what do you call it, that urge to go running back, I guess you could say. I don't have any of that anymore. Like, I still got a lot of healing to deal with, yet how do I explain it? And I'm putting it right back in this package. And if somebody wants to test my handwriting, they'll see that even though I'm right-handed, I write like I'm left-handed. I'm a sloppy handwriter. But I'm not sure what to think really anymore about what's going on. All I'm doing is my best to just kind of like refocus my mind a bit and all that. Because like I don't know how to explain what happened during this week. There are things that I'm still trying to make sense of. And yeah, I feel like I'm going crazy. Yet, I don't know how to explain any of this. It's been a really, really weird week. And I don't know. Even with all this, like, really weird, there's a lot of weird stuff going on that I just don't know how to explain. At the same time, simultaneously, there's been so much crap that's gone on over the years. And it's still going right now. Just thankfully I've been able to distance myself from it. Yet there's been some really weird blessings coming through, and I guess you could say. Is that the right way to say it? Like I don't know how to explain what's been going on. And that's why I'm still remaining to stick to myself. And try to keep doing what I've been doing and focusing on going forward and what have you. I'm still going to go and, for my walk tomorrow. And just, yeah. And go out in God's country, basically, and be able to go walk with God for a bit before I go sit and, well, not really sit, but before I go and have at least, a good meal out there by the river and stuff. I'm not sure, because I might go to the bottom hill, I don't know. But I have my two favorite spots, and I just know that the one I'm not sure I don't know if I'll go to that one because I don't necessarily want to just sit there and cook right in the parking lot. Hey, I'm tailgating over here. I'm gonna throw on the football game, even though I don't really watch sports at all. I haven't watched sports in years. But there's some very life-changing things happening, and I just wish I knew how to say it. And right now I just don't know how I can say it. It's just, there's a lot of, like, I don't know how to explain it. And, I admit there's quite a bit of depression that's coming in through it, because, like, I'm feeling confused right now. Not, I mean, I can't say good or bad. It's just kind of like when, how do I say this? Sometimes your world is not what you think it is. And sometimes things go in ways that you just don't expect it to go. And you just don't, like, you can't imagine. Like, is it, and so, there are times when, you know, there are like signs and like a poster board almost, or a billboard or whatever. There are things that go on throughout your life that you don't necessarily pick up on at first until you're in a position to look back on it. But then you also are faced, you find yourselves in situations where you find yourself, how do I say this? Where you're faced with the reality that you're not, it's not that you're not quite sure of. You just, we're not aware of. And I just don't know how to express this. I really don't know how to express this at all. Because, like I said, I'm, like, part of me feels like I'm going crazy. And I'm not, like, I and if I am, I don't know how to say it. I'm not sure how to verbalize this part, because like, a lot of strange things have gone on within a lot of hell. And so I'm finding myself way more hopeful. Like, there's just I don't know how to explain what I'm feeling right now. And even though I know what's kind of going on around me, when it comes to other people, other things, and all this bad shit that's, yeah, all this, like, yeah. It's It's like I just don't know how to explain it. No matter like how I'm trying to think it through, I don't know how to explain it. And so I just yeah, getting that package, all this other stuff. I'm afraid. In all honesty, I don't want to go back to that house until I can actually have somebody from LE, the law enforcement or something to go check it before I even go there. I don't want to step foot on that property or anything. Because I have a feeling that somebody was, maybe trying to dupe my realtor. I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure. It's just, this has just been a really, this has been one heck of an experience. That's for sure. Like my mind is just, it's. I took a nice walk again here tonight, and I've been kind of enjoying being able to go on some of these walks, especially just freaking trying, there's just, I don't know how to explain it. And I meant, I think, I think my oldest brother knows too. And I understand. So it's like, I know the direction I want to go. I know why I want to move where I want to move. I know why I've been like, I know why now on why I've been drawn to move out in that direction. Like, I know now. And I feel crazy for saying this stuff. Like, I'm feeling crazy right now. Like, throughout my whole life, I basically thought I was, basically crazy. But this, I really do feel like I'm crazy. Like, I'm going crazy. And it's like, I realize that there's people watching this stuff that aren't, other than like the random viewers, I guess you could say. I realize that there's not just people who are watching this who like to see me get hurt, or watching just to see what's going on next. I guess I'm starting to become aware that there's actually some genuinely good people that are out there. And like, I'm kind of in that sit still type. I've been sitting still for a while. At this point, I've just been sitting still for a while. There's a lot of things that are going through my mind right now. Like, there's a lot of things. Like, I'm starting to kind of understand why, and like I said, I feel like I'm going crazy. I could be wrong with what I'm saying. Yet, there's a part of me that's like, I don't know, I'm, like, yeah, I'm being a typical human being in the sense that, like, it's going against my logic. It's going against what would be considered, normal logic. So I'm listening to myself right now as I'm saying this stuff. Because there's like there's certain things I'm understanding that are sticking out, why I was drawn to certain things, drawn to do certain things, like certain cars, like, yeah, like liking certain specific cars or whatever. And then, like my Z car, it's like I gotta have my Z car. I loved my Z car because, well, a sister of mine had one. And I think if I'm not going crazy, I think that's what's going on. If I'm wrong, then I'm going crazy, and I'm just I understand why there's certain things that I'm starting to kind of understand. I realized over the last couple years, or outside of I enjoyed not just doing martial arts for a long time there. I enjoyed getting to teach self defense and stuff like that. It was fun. It was fun. But now I understand why I was drawn to some of that. I understand why I was drawn. Why I like listening to jets and planes fly over. This is an uncomfortable thing for me to say because I feel like I'm going crazy with everything that's gone on. Like everything I walked away that I've had to walk away from, and just try to focus on, kind of to let the past, or whatever you want to call it, like all that shit be where it's at, and let God deal with it. Because I've done my part. I feel like I think, and now I have like a new thing that I've got to deal with in this process. Like it just, like I said, it opened a whole can of worms. Like this whole thing opened a can of worms on me, and it's like part of me's hoping I'm not wrong. Like there's just so much, and there's so much. I don't know how to explain it. Cause like I said, I feel like I'm going crazy. I really feel like I'm going crazy. And if I'm wrong about what's going on in my mind, then I will be downright the first to stand up and be like, I'm fucking crazy. Because I just... just holding on, I guess. And very confused. It's like there's it's a question that I really want to say out loud, but I feel crazy saying it because it's like, yeah, I feel crazy. I feel crazy saying it because as long as I can remember, yeah. But there's always been those questions that has been in the back of my mind, and I know where, like, like I've said in a previous vid, I know where my happy place is at now. I'm Misha, Momo, stop that, girl. I'm just confused and at a loss right now. Cause this is like when I woke up in that hospital, trying to figure out, what the how the hell I got there, basically, like what the hell's going on, and then being told, hey, your wife's here, and I'm getting up going, my wife's here, great, and I'm getting up going, like what the hell's going on here, and it's like, who are you? You're not my wife. You're my older son's mom. It's yeah. I find out later my wife was banned from being able to see me, and I don't know why. I got told that her and her mom are saying some things, but I can't help but feel like somebody was in there saying things to me while I was in that state of whatever that state I was in, to have me like respond or whatever it was that I was doing, because I don't remember that. I don't remember any of that. It's just black. There's two things I remember. A blue bag, which turned out, to be a vomit bag. And yeah, one other thing. And that very image that's in my brain makes me question about other things. And there's some things that I'm paying close attention to. I feel like I'm saying this, and I'm making it very clear. I feel like I'm going crazy. You might even see people and all that stuff, and it's like from here down, this person looks familiar, and the other one, in a strange way, looks practically just like my oldest brother. It's weird. It's weird. And so I'm, because yeah, it kind of, what do you call it? Because I'm trying to be careful what I say even on here. Like, there's certain things I'm trying to actually be careful about saying on here. But I also, I can't help but to question. And I've had these questions before, but I just thought I was just being stupid. There's... I think part of me, when I keep going on these walks, I keep going on my walks like I'm going to look for something. And yeah. I feel like I'm going crazy. There's certain things that have been said, there's certain things that have gone on, that are clicking off in my head. There's certain things that have gone on in the past, and then there's things that, I sit back and it's if I go in and I sit down and I go through the photo albums, would I find one picture of this situation? Of a certain thing? Because normally, it's been overwhelming. I'm overwhelmed. I really do feel like I'm going crazy. There's so many things. It just makes it make sense. And it's like, there's just no way. There's just... It's like someone else had said to me, you know, it sounds like something that would be a Lifetime movie. And I'm afraid to say it. If I'm adopted, I want to know. Like, this whole thing, like I said, it's opened a big ass can of worms on my ass, and I feel like I'm going crazy. Because I can understand why I don't really look like my mom. And why I don't really look like my dad. So there's some confusion there. You know, my mom would always say, you know, because I noticed my oldest brother didn't really look like my dad at all, and doesn't. And I see where he could look more like my mom and, say, my grandpa Ken and stuff like that. My brother John looks more like my dad. I mean, you can see he looks just like my dad. For myself, it's like I actually have trouble at times there. You know, seeing those resemblances. You know, when my son Kenneth was born, you know, I didn't, you know, not saying him and I, but when what was it, his graduation picture, I'd noticed how much he looked similar to my mom. So it's like, okay, you know, that type of thing. And I look just like my mom from school. So it's like, okay, that's where I'm confused. So there's a lot of confusion going on. It's like, I've got all kinds of confusion going on. I feel like I'm going crazy. And that's a question I really, in a time like this, never thought about, even thought of myself even going, okay, is this? Because all of it, a big ass can of worms was open. And I pay attention to features and stuff like that, and in people. Like I said, I feel like I'm going crazy. And I'm not sure how to feel. Other than I feel like I'm going crazy. Dealing with between present stuff that I'm, you know, dealing with from where my ex is concerned and stuff surrounding that, and then like other questions are starting to come up for some reason. I don't know why. Oh yeah, when you were born, you know, we knew it brought your brother John and Joe together because you look like a mix between the both of them. I used to get really dark as a kid. You know, my brother John gets really dark too. But Joe, Miles be French German. Miles be straight French German. I've got so much going on up here that this is something I don't even want to bring up even when I go to my counseling appointment. Because I feel like I'm going crazy. And I'm on the verge of telling myself, yeah, you're fucking crazy, dude. I mean, there's, yeah. And so, I mean, it kind of explains, there's just, yeah. Why would it be so easy for your mom and dad to be okay with you to just leave and, like, never see them again? And I'm not talking about these ones. My mom and dad, like, my mom and dad. They're still my mom and dad. That's my mom and dad, because I don't know. I don't know. I'm not for certain. I'm really not for certain. And so, and seeing not just certain, like, features and stuff, seeing certain, like, I'll just say names in relations, and then I'm pretty sure I heard that name from my brother. I'm really confused. I met this cousin, and you know, you get that feeling where you feel like you need to go home, but this is supposed to be home. You feel like you gotta go home. Like, I've not felt like I fit in anywhere, and there's so many questions I have when it comes to all of this, from everything from my past to why this shit had to be going on, with all this narcissistic abuse that I've had to deal with. And so I don't know how to explain the part of, without it sounding funny, like, I feel like I'm going crazy, yet if I am, I hope I am. Because I don't know how to explain it. Like, yeah, I'm tired of feeling like I don't belong anywhere, and then, like, it's like certain things start coming under my radar from all this shit, and it's like, I'm not, it's like I wasn't necessarily even looking there, in essence, but while dealing with all this stuff, and then, like, there's things I start catching on to, and then things I started, like, yeah. So, I'm gonna end it here, because I feel like I'm going crazy. I'm not sure if what I'm thinking or feeling is, like, just in my head, or if it's real right now. Like, it's confusing. I mean, it's confusing, and anyways, thanks for watching. I'm gonna go get some rest here shortly, and then tomorrow I'll get to go on my walk and cook us some lunch, okay? Anyways, thanks for watching. You guys have a good night. I'm a little late.